everyone, I'm going to be doing a restorative yoga session today just to help out during this difficult time, to try and get you to relax a little bit and slow things down. So we're going to start off by sitting in a comfortable position on our mat. Ideally this would be Sukhasana pose or cross-legged easy pose, just sat on the mat, so the legs are fully crossed, maybe you're in lotus position, or maybe your legs are as mine are now. We're resting our hands on our knees and we're just getting ourselves nice and straight with our back, opening out the chest, closing down the eyes and starting to focus on the breath. So we're focusing on the inhales, how it feels as the air enters the nostrils, and on the exhale, how it feels as the air leaves the body. We're paying attention to the rise of the chest or the shoulders or the belly. And just noticing where the breath is, not changing it in any way, just noticing it. Maybe if you find that your mind is starting to wander, you could count the inhale as 1 and the exhale as 2. Inhale 1, exhale 2. Inhale 1, exhale 2. We're just using the breath as a way to anchor the mind, to focus it, to steady, to let go of any worries, any stresses, and leave your to-do list behind. Just quieten the mind. And no matter how many times you find that your mind starts to wander, just gently bring it back. It will do that, and that's okay. There's no need to chastise ourselves or to focus on that for any prolonged period of time. Just notice that your mind has wandered and gently bring it back to the breath. Okay, let's take a big inhale through the nose and a big sigh out the mouth. And again, inhale and sigh it out. Let's just use that breath as a way to let go of everything that you may be holding on to, whether that's showing physically or mentally. There's all sorts of studies that show this breath is really beneficial. Let's just do a couple more of those. Last one. Okay, let's move on to our full yogic breath now. So we're inhaling to the full capacity of the lungs. Feeling the breath right up to the collarbones and right down into the diaphragm. So we should be feeling as well at the sides on our ribs that we are expanding out to the side as well as expanding up and out in front. It's a full breath using the full cavity. And we're letting fully go as well at the bottom. Try and extend the exhale slightly so you really are pushing out that breath. And just using the breath now to get ourselves ready for our asana practice or our poses. We're just going to do a bit of a slow flow, just a chilled, relaxed one. And if you find at any time during this session you feel like actually this is pushing me a bit too hard, then just come down into child's pose. So just a reminder of what child's pose is for anyone that's new or has forgotten, it's been a little while. We come down onto our heels. We can either have the knees wide or we can have them close together, yogi's choice. And we just relax the top body over the knees, or in between the knees if we're wide. We've either got the hands out in front, stretching the shoulders, or perhaps you want to relax fully. Backs of hands onto the top of the mat. Relaxing the shoulders over, letting the spine round out. So that's our relaxation pose. In other types of yoga, we say that down dog is our relaxing pose, but for restorative, yin, slow flow yoga, we use child's pose. So anytime you feel, no, this is too much, or maybe even just in your day-to-day as well, I just need a bit of time for myself. What's really nice about that pose is that it's quite insular, so by having your head against the mat, you can really focus on the breath. And it just forces you to kind of become a bit more contained within yourself, so you can just use it to steady yourself when you're feeling overwhelmed. If you find that you're feeling overwhelmed during this difficult time as well, I would recommend using some Visharma-vritti pranayama practice, so breath control work. Visharma-vritti basically means an unequal ratio of your breath. So basically you would be extending your exhales for double the amount of time of your inhales. What that does is it works with the nervous system, puts you in a parasympathetic nervous state, which basically means that you're in a rest and digest. We do 10 rounds, at least 10 rounds of those kinds of breath, just focusing on it. So, for example, counting on the inhale to 4 and on exhale to 8. That will really help to calm your body down, get you out of that fight or flight response that sometimes anxiety can put us into, but just taking that time to relax us. I think this is a really good opportunity to be able to start to focus on ourselves, do daily meditations, use your breath control work to bring yourself some calm, because it is a difficult time. It's normal for everybody to be feeling a little bit stressed at times. In my family, we say that we have a day, it's my day today where I feel like this is a bit tough. So we support each other in that. And I will use things like the Visharma-vritti pranayama to just try and calm myself a little. So I'd recommend doing that as well. And you could do that during your child's pose, during your yoga practice, or just in general as you're going about your day to day. Maybe even on your daily exercise when you're walking outside in the sunshine. That might be particularly nice. So, with all of that in mind, I'm going to get started with our asana flow. So we're going to start off in tabletop position. We're just going to do some cat-cows to begin with. So, tabletop position, your shoulders are over your wrists, your hips are over your knees, the backs of your feet are flat against the mat. We've got our fingers spread nice and wide, gripping the mat, and we're looking towards the edge of the mat. We inhale, open out the chest, tilt the pelvis up, exhale, tilt the pelvis under, look towards the belly button, round out between the shoulder blades. So inhale, open, and exhale, closing the body up. So we're using these cat-cows just to do some spinal flexion and extension. So we're just opening out the spine, feeling our way, moving with the breath. Maybe you want to take those movements slightly bigger for you, so maybe you're starting to bring the sit bones towards the heels. Maybe you're using the elbows. Maybe you're moving towards the side. Another benefit of doing yoga and it's not in a normal class setting, which obviously we would prefer to do, the benefit is that you can get as creative with the movement of your hips and things like that as you want. You don't have to worry about anybody else seeing you. You're in the comfort of your own home, so just feel your way into it. Don't worry too much about what you look like, because nobody cares, nobody's there. Okay, let's tuck the toes underneath now. We're coming into toes pose. Let's just open out the feet. So we're trying to make sure that each toe is in contact with the mat. We're opening out the foot, relaxing the sit bones onto the heels, placing the tops of the hands onto the thighs. You can come in and out of this as many times as you want to. And maybe if you start to feel like, oh, this is getting a little bit uncomfortable for me, then just start to focus on the breath again. Steady the mind. And just opening out the foot. They're often in shoes, slippers, socks. So it's nice to be able to open that out. It helps with our padabandha, so our foot lock, when we're doing other forms of yoga. And we do use padabandha a little bit in restorative, but more so in things like vinyasa, ashtanga. So this is really kind of helping to prepare you for your practice. Perhaps you're joining your Sam on Saturday, so let's get ourselves ready for that practice using this one today. Okay, let's hold this for 2 more breaths. Okay, let's come back to tabletop position now. We're going to inhale the arm up, coming in to thread the needle. We're going to bring that arm underneath, bringing the ear towards the mat. Placing the shoulder in contact with the mat. You could extend your hand here if you wanted to. Or alternatively, you could use the opposite leg to bring in some balance work and get the mind thinking a little bit, which leg was that again? Point the toe if you are using this for balance work. That sunshine on my face is lovely. Okay, let's come back, unfold ourselves, get ourselves back into our tabletop position, and then let's go on to the other side. So we're opening out to the side to begin with, and then tucking underneath. Whichever option you took with either the arm or the balance pose, take the same on this side, but don't be surprised if you find that one side is more difficult than the other. Okay, let's come back to tabletop position now. We're going to spread the fingers, tuck the toes underneath. We're coming up into downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. So let's take a minute to make sure we've got an external rotation. So you'll notice when I come into downward facing dog, I always bring myself round so that I get that full external rotation. I recommend doing that. It helps you to make sure that you've got your upper body in the correct position. I'm bending the knees so I can bring the sit bones further up towards the sky. I'm not worried about where the heels are or what's happening on that side of things. What I'm more concerned about is the spine. So by by bending my knees and bringing the sit bones further up towards the sky and making sure my spine is straighter. I'm gripping with my fingertips. There's a slight internal rotation on the thighs. And my drishti is towards my belly button, or gaze point. Let's take the right hand and place it on the left ankle and look up towards the armpit. A twisted downward facing dog. And now let's come on to the other side. And come back. We're going to place the right leg up towards the sky, point the toe, three-legged dog. Square off the hips, try and make sure that you're not collapsing into one side, so your weight is evenly distributed between the hands still. And then we're going to open out into scorpion, so bring that heel towards the bottom, imagining that the toe is pointing towards the opposite shoulder. Opening out. Let's come back to three-legged dog. We're going to bring the knee towards the nose, place the foot in between the hands, block the back foot off. We're coming into warrior two, so let's just get our feet positioned. So the heel is pointing towards the centre of the back foot. So on a slight angle, the front leg is bent. We open out to the side and we look towards the fingertips. Make sure that the knee is not drifting inwards, so we're pointing it out towards the little toe. Let's go into a deeper bend here. Nice and strong. Okay, we're going to step forward to the tops of our mats. And whilst we're at the top of our mat, what we're going to do is get that Padabandha foot lock engaged, so we're spreading out the toes, we're getting a nice steady base, and then we're going to bring the right foot up towards, or we'll start with just the foot towards the ankle. Opening out the knee on the side here. Maybe you're just staying here. Maybe you're bringing the foot up towards the calf, or maybe towards the thigh. The main thing is not to rest your foot on your knee. So if you're struggling with your balance at all, then try to imagine that you're pushing that thigh, this thigh here, towards the foot rather than the foot towards the thigh. And also use your drishti, your gaze point, to focus yourself. Let's come on to the other side. So starting down here if you want to, here, again we're engaging this supporting leg to bring ourselves some balance. We're just going to keep it at a simple tree pose today. We're not going to do fallen tree or anything else. We're just using balance to steady the mind. It really helps to bring some focus, balanced postures. You have to focus to be able to stay in it. The mind's not going anywhere else. Okay. We're going to inhale up and exhale, forward fold, swan dive down. Inhale, flat spine. The weight is in the front of the foot. We're looking forward. We're making sure the spine's nice and straight. We're exhaling down. Step back. We'll just do a knees, chest, chin. Inhale, baby cobra. Keep the elbows nice and tight in. Tuck the toes. Come by child's pose into downward facing dog. Nice and steady. And now we're going to do left leg to the sky. Three-legged dog. Square off the hips once more. Try and make sure our weight's evenly distributed. We're gripping down with the fingertips. And then let's bring the heel towards the bottom. Scorpion. Point the toes towards the opposite shoulder. And again, try to make sure that you're not collapsing too much. We're opening out the hips. Let's come back to three-legged dog. Knee to nose, place the foot. Get the feet in position once more. So we've got the back foot at a slight angle. The heel of the front foot is pointing towards the middle of the back foot. We're opening out. Come this way for you can see. This front knee is pointing towards the little toe, not collapsing in towards the big toe. Nice deep bend. Opening out the chest. Try and tilt the pelvis under slightly. Back leg is still engaged. We're grinding down with the back edge of the back foot. Okay, let's step forward. Come into Tadasana. So we've got our feet hip distance apart. Pada bandha engaged, so lift every single toe and then slowly lower it down. Shoulders back and down. Palms facing forward. Pelvis slightly tucked under. Chest nice and open. Back straight. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat spine, look forward, weight is in the front of the foot. Exhale, step back. Either chaturanga dandasana or knees to the chin. Downward facing dog once more. Right leg up. Bring it in. We're coming into pigeon pose. So the right knee is towards the right hand. We walk back, the left leg back. We're not resting on the knee at all, so we shouldn't feel any pain. Come up onto the fingertips. If you want to, you can stay here, keeping the chest nice and open. Or perhaps you want to fold yourself down. Okay, we're coming back up onto fingertips now, placing the hands down, bringing the back leg in slightly, tucking the toes underneath, coming back into downward facing dog. Opposite leg this time, left leg to the sky, bring it down. And then bringing ourselves down once more. Remember, with pigeon pose, we can adjust the position of the foot, so it's either closer towards the hand or closer towards the body. That opens out the hip more or less, so have a play around with that, find where's comfortable for you. onto the fingertips. Relax the weight down. Swing the legs round. Coming into Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. So we've got an internal rotation on the thighs. We have the spine nice and long at the moment. We inhale the arms up and exhale, fold down. So if you find that you just, today you need it to be with your hands on your thighs, or on your shins, or your ankles, or your feet, just find what's comfortable for you. We're going to let the spine relax. So normally, particularly with Ashtanga practice, we try to encourage you to have a flat spine, holding at the hip rather than using the spine. But actually in this case, we're just going to let it relax. So don't worry, round out the spine as much as you want. Another insular pose, so just try and use the opportunity to focus on the breath. Okay, let's roll our way up, and then we're just going to slowly lower ourselves down towards our backs on the mat. We're going to bring our knees in towards our chest, Attanasana. So we'll rock gently from side to side. And now it's yogi's choice at this point what you'd like to do. So you can either place your feet onto the mat, making sure that you can touch the backs of the heels of the fingertips, using the glutes to push yourself up into bridge pose, making sure that the knees don't start to spray out in any way, that they're still tracking in line with the hip points. Maybe it's just here today, or maybe you walk the shoulders underneath, grasp the hands together and push further up. Maybe we're placing the hands onto the mat, exhaling and pushing ourselves up. Again, trying to make sure that the knees aren't swaying out, try and bring them further in. Wheel pose. Or perhaps you'd like to come into shoulder stand. So I'm trying to make ourselves one long line. We're coming onto the shoulders. Using the hands to support ourselves if you want to. You could relax the hands down onto the mat. I'm not going to do that today. My core isn't quite there since giving birth, but we're almost there. Okay. Whatever position we're in, I'd like you to take a couple more breaths. And then relax yourself down. Bring the knees in towards the chest. And let's rock again. We're going to relax the hands out at shoulder height. Bring the knees towards the right hand side and look towards the left hand. Gentle reclining twist. Back in towards the middle and over towards the left, look towards the right hand. towards the middle, tight squeeze, and then you can relax your legs down. Come down into corpse pose, lying flat on the mat. And what I'd like to suggest at this point is that you do take the time to have your shavasana that you would normally have in class. So relaxing for the next 5 minutes or so. Just using that time to work your way through your body, perhaps relaxing each body part one at a time. You can use an autogenic relaxation, so that means you tighten the muscles and then relax it one at a time. So you tighten your feet, bringing the toes in, scrunching those up and then relaxing it. Do the same with each body part. Or maybe you just want to take the time to just let go of everything. Not really focusing too much on anything, just relaxing in that pose for 5 minutes. And then coming out and carrying on with the rest of your day. If you have any questions, any requests of anything that you'd like to see in any asana flows, or perhaps any healthy recipes, things like that, I can always help with that. So please do let me know. Otherwise, the light inside me honors the light inside you. Namaste.